We have been looking for the exit in the wrong place. For decades, the standard prescription for a mind trapped in the frantic, suffocating loop of anxiety has been simple: talk it out or breathe it through. We've been told that the solution to a psychological cage must be a psychological key. But what if the most powerful weapon against the invisible weight of an anxiety disorder isn't found in a therapist's chair, but in the cold, hard steel of a weight room? Imagine a room where the air is thick with the scent of iron and the sound of controlled, heavy breathing. To most, this is a place of vanity or physical grit. But a groundbreaking new study, published in early 2026 in the BMJ Open Sport and Exercise Medicine, suggests this room might actually be a sanctuary for the mind. Researchers Evander Feng Chao Lei and his team decided to stop looking at exercise as just a nice-to-have addition to therapy.
They wanted to know which specific movements actually move the needle for someone living with a diagnosed clinical disorder. They performed what scientists call a network meta-analysis, a massive, high-level data hunt that allowed them to compare different treatments head-to-head, even if those treatments were never in the same room. They analyzed 30 randomized controlled trials involving over 1,400 participants, looking for the gold standard of relief. They weren't just looking at people who felt a bit stressed. They focused on adults with actual diagnosed anxiety disorders, and what they found is nothing short of a paradigm shift. The data revealed a hierarchy of healing that defies our common intuition. We often associate calming down with slow, gentle movements, but when it came to clinical anxiety disorders, the most effective intervention wasn't a long walk or even a marathon run. It was resistance training. The researchers found that lifting weights and building physical strength had the highest probability of being the most effective treatment, boasting a SUCRA score, a statistical ranking of effectiveness, of 78.5%. To put that in perspective, resistance training actually outperformed traditional cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, which sat at 67.5% in their analysis. Let that sink in for a moment. Pushing against a physical load was statistically more effective at quieting a disordered mind than the most widely recognized form of talk therapy. It's as if the body needs to prove to itself that it can handle a heavy burden in the physical world before the mind can believe it can survive the heavy burdens of the psychological one. But the secret deepens. The researchers discovered that the best exercise depends entirely on the nature of your struggle. While resistance training reigned supreme for those with diagnosed disorders, something else took the crown for general anxiety symptoms, that low-level, persistent hum of worry that many of us carry. For those people, mind-body exercises like yoga or Tai Chi were the masters, reaching an effectiveness score of 77.9%. This suggests that our biology requires different keys for different locks. If your anxiety is a formal diagnostic storm, your body may need the grounding, high-intensity feedback of resistance. If your anxiety is a constant, flickering flame of symptoms, it may need the rhythmic, integrated flow of the mind-body connection. Perhaps the most surprising finding was the acceptability factor. In the world of clinical research, acceptability is a polite way of asking, do people actually stick with it, or do they quit? Scientists often worry that exercise is too hard for people in the throes of mental health struggles. But this study revealed there was no significant difference in discontinuation rates between exercise, placebo controls, or even traditional therapy. The barrier isn't that exercise is too difficult to maintain. The barrier is simply that we haven't been prescribing the right kind. This research challenges the very foundation of how we treat the self. It suggests that the wall between the mental and the physical is a fiction we've maintained for too long. We are not just ghosts in a machine. We are the machine itself. When we strain our muscles, we are retraining our nervous system. When we master a heavy lift, we are teaching our amygdala a lesson in resilience that words sometimes cannot reach. Next time you feel the walls of worry closing in, remember this study.
You might find that the most profound psychological breakthrough doesn't happen while you're talking about your past, but while you're reclaiming your power in the present, one repetition at a time. The iron doesn't lie, and according to the latest science, it might just be the most honest therapist you'll ever meet. Would you like me to look into the specific physiological reasons why resistance training specifically impacts the brain's anxiety centers compared to aerobic exercise?